and it disappeared as quickly as it had formed. There was not another cloud in the sky, there's no lake, there's no water anywhere. It was incredible. I can't explain it, but it's certainly something worth looking into. Next. This is a drawing made by one of the students at Glass College where I was the executive director. Stan was the head of the security department. Some of you know Stan Barrington. He's my only authorized representative in this world. Would put my life in his hands, and I have on several occasions. Stan was the head of the security department, and one of the students in the security curriculum was in trouble, was failing. Stan was counseling the student, and she drew this picture. And she drew, next slide, this, and next, this, and next, and these little guys. Now, she had no idea that I knew anything about UFOs or flying saucers. Nobody in the world did at that time. Stan didn't even know then, and I didn't even know then that Stan had guarded a flying saucer when he was in Delta Force in the Army. But Stan brought me these things, and he said, "You ever seen anything like this?" And I said, "I don't know, Stan, where'd you get it?" He told me, and we brought the girl into my office and sat her down, and I began to try to find out why she was failing and where this stuff came from, and it turns out she had a year of missing time. A whole year out of her life she could not account for, and she couldn't concentrate on anything, and that's why she was failing. Next. This was drawn by Krista Tilton. Notice the similarity. My student had never seen Krista Tilton in her life, had never read a UFO book, didn't know anything about any of this. Next. 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 This is Aviation Week and Space Technology, November 21st, 1988. Write that down because somebody's going to ask me. November 21st, 1988. You can find it in used bookstores and libraries. Next picture. In which this ad appeared, talking about technology so advanced it will help answer some big question, and on the facing page, what's there? This picture. On the side of the neck, there's hair growing. We did extensive analysis of this photograph. We rephotographed it, we relit it, we blew it up. We tracked down the photographer who would not tell us what it was he photographed. We asked originally to Amoco for the name of the artist who drew the picture. They said, "I'm sorry, we can't reveal the name of the photographer." We found the photographer. He would not tell us what he photographed, but he sent us an 8x10 copy from the original negative, and then we began to work on that as well as with the ones we had photographed out of the magazine. And this is what Amoco told us. They told us several different things. First, they told us that it was a 9-foot-tall bronze statue. Second, they told us it was a 12-foot-tall bronze statue. And third, they told us it was a 9-inch clay statue. When we pressed for more information and became literally obnoxious on the phone, not accepting what they were telling us and wanting to see the original artwork, they refused and hung up on us. So, whereas I cannot say definitely that this is a live alien, I can tell you one thing: it is not a bronze statue. I can also tell you it's not a clay statue. And hair don't grow on the necks of statues. Next. You can see the moisture in the eye, the incredibly small detail in the texture of the skin and whatever this is, and in the eye. Look at the lip. You ever kissed anything like that before? I know a guy that did in the back seat of a Chevy. Next. Look at the incredible detail. I have never seen an artist in my life that was capable of doing this kind of work. But I haven't seen all the artists that there are either. Next. Look at the lines on the neck. Look at the detail on the arm. Next. Look at the hair on the neck. Can you see it? It's kind of hard to see, but it's there. That little fuzzy hair. Look at the lips. Look at the throat, the detail, the wrinkles. Next. Look at the moisture in the nostrils and tell me that's a bronze statue. Look at the moisture in the eyes. Look at the incredible detail in the folds of the eyes. Look at this bag under the eyes. Next. I think they're trying to tell us something. Next. Next. These are letters from England that was a big hoax. Next. It purports that a alien craft crashed in the Kalahari Desert of South Africa is perpetrated by one guy named James Van Grunen. It's a total hoax. Don't believe it. If you want proof, write to me. If you think you're going to waste your time pursuing this, I'll give you the proof. Next. 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 Just keep on going right on through. Okay, next. Oh, this is significant. 1917, the Imperial Japanese Mission, record of the reception throughout the United States, the special mission headed by Viscount Ishiki. John Dewey, professor of philosophy at Columbia University, he's the one who built our education system that is not teaching our kids anything. He said, first sentence in his speech, someone remarked that the best way to unite all the nations on this globe would be an attack from some other planet. In the face of such an alien enemy, people would respond with a sense of their unity of interest and purpose. Next. Knowing who John Dewey was, and knowing what he's done to our educational system, and knowing that this was written and planned a long time ago, this is probably going on. Next. This is from the report from Iron Mountain. Credibility, in fact, lies at the heart of the problem of developing a political substitute for war. This is where the space race proposals, in many ways so well suited as economic substitutes for war, fall short. The most ambitious and unrealistic space project cannot of itself generate a believable external menace. It has been hotly argued that such a menace would offer the last best hope of peace, etc., by uniting mankind against the danger of destruction by creatures from other planets or from outer space. Experiments have been proposed to test the credibility of an out-of-our-world invasion threat. It is possible that a few of the more difficult to explain flying saucer incidents of recent years were in fact early experiments of this kind. Next. By guys like this. Next. Or this. Anybody know who this is? It's John Lilly, one of the fathers of the CIA mind control methods. Next. Is this what's going on? Next. Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars is the first chapter in my book. Once you read that, you will have a complete understanding of what's happening in one very important area. And you will get an understanding of what the elite think of us, the common man, the mass of ordinary, everyday people, which is what most of us really are. We're all special in our own way, but we are a part of the masses of people. They believe that we are cattle, that we do not use our intellect, that we are easily manipulated, that we will not solve the problems of the world because we are greedy scumbags. And because of that, we are nothing but stakes on the table for those who will use their intellect. And until we change that, they're going to treat us like cattle. And I've got to tell you right now, on a daily basis, we prove them right. Next. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, E.T., V, many, 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 many others. Many, many, many movies. We've been bombarded with alien movies, alien commercials, an alien spaceship landing at the end of the 1984 Olympics to reinforce in our consciousness the creation of an alien threat that does not exist, or to wake us up to an alien presence that has been here for many, many years. It's not an accident that these things are happening. It's not an accident that you're seeing on your TV. Was ITT or ATT? AT&T, one world, one card. These aren't accidents. Right out here in the lobby of this church, you see a picture of the world on the bulletin board. And go, when you leave, just look what it says. Next. Don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not opposed to a one-world government at all. I think in the evolutionary future of mankind, it is absolutely necessary and unavoidable. What I'm opposed to is being manipulated into something I know nothing about, and knowing the fact that if I have to be manipulated into it, I'm not going to like it. And knowing that the best government that's ever been created on the face of this earth is going to be destroyed in the process. And that we're going to lose our Constitution and our Bill of Rights in the process. That's what I'm opposed to. I want to be included. I want to help them decide what this is going to be so that I can be satisfied with whatever it turns out to be. Stephen J. Kurzweil, MD. I've met this man, I've talked to him, I've researched this case thoroughly. This is his credentials, his curriculum vitae. Look at who this man is. This is no flake. This is a medical doctor with many degrees, a lot of credentials and memberships in many of the medical society, what do you call them? Associations, I guess. He's also Phi Beta Kappa and an Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Medical Society. This guy has the credentials that most people would drool for. What happened to him? I'm going to show you his testimony here in a couple of minutes. What happened to him, he was approached by someone named Joan Thompson at not at a UFO meeting, to attend a UFO meeting. He said he really wasn't interested, but went because she was a pretty woman, and he wanted to meet her. He went with her. It was like a date. He said what he learned there astounded him. He never heard of any of that stuff. But he also met somebody named Bud Hopkins. Joan Thompson told him that she was an agent of the Central Intelligence Agency, and Bud Hopkins identified himself as also being an agent of the Central Intelligence Agency and recruited this doctor to help them work with abductees and report information to the Central Intelligence Agency. He worked with them for a while until he found out that Bud Hopkins had no credentials whatsoever, was an artist, a painter, but was hypnotizing people who had been abducted, was conducting group psychology therapy sessions with them, was extracting as much information as he could out of them and then dumping them like a hot potato. And this man, Stephen Kurzweil, MD, with all these credentials, reported Bud Hopkins to the New York State medical authorities, and nothing happened to Bud Hopkins. Stephen Kurzweil, on the other hand, was charged for being delusional and they're trying to take his medical license away from him. Because he told them that Bud Hopkins was engaged in this research of alien abductions that the government was covering up, and he was judged to be delusional. We have all the documentation, the medical reports, everything. Next. It's all in my book. These are the official charges that the state of New York brought against him. It's incredible. Next. Schizoid personality disorder. Grandiose and paranoid type. Next. This is his testimony, sworn under penalty of perjury, signed and notarized. It's in my book. It proves the assertion that I've been saying all along, that most of the people that you ever see on the stage of a UFO symposium are working for the government. When they have a show on TV like UFO Cover-Up Live, which William Moore participates in, who is an admitted government agent, with all the others, and then they give a phone number at the end